pale in
The hottest driver in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment Paddock, couldn't be stopped, not even by his teammate. Jake Wright took the lead from Pierre Degley during green flag pit stops and never looked back, leading 96 laps en route to his first oval win of the season in the Area 51 Racing Milwaukee 150. The first caution of the race flew on lap 4 when Dave Barber and Vincent Bluthenthal made contact in turn 1. Only Barber would be able to continue. Coming off his first career Lionheart pole, Degley ducked into the pits on lap 44. Wright followed a lap later from 4th place, but made up enough time to beat Degley back out onto the track. 2 laps after Wright hit pit lane, the caution flew, as Jason Galvin and Chris Stouffer were both hitting the pits from the lead. Michael Gray turned a slowing James Paulson, who was also headed for pit row on lap 44. Only Joe Branch was able to stay out and not run out of fuel, and on the restart, Wright cycled to the lead, followed by Degley and Branch. That's how the top 3 would finish. Adam Blocker, in his series debut for Adrenaline Motorsports, came home 4th. Jonathan Koch was 5th, but not before the duo were involved in a crash, bringing out the 3rd caution on lap 88. 2 laps after that restart, the 4th and final yellow flag flew when Brandon Limkeman spun in turn 3. Mark Amick was left with nowhere to go and collided with Limkeman. A wreck coming to the finish jumbled the back half of the top 10. Stouffer and Galvin rebounded and crossed the line 6th and 7th, but Barber spun all alone a lap down behind them. Michael Goodman had nowhere to go, slammed into Barber and fell from 8th to 11th in the process, allowing Michael Gray, Dan Guerin, and Tony Schauent all move up a spot and slide into the top 10. Engineered to win, built to last, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more info on HPP and the products they offer, go to hppsimulation.com. And for more information on the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, head to lionheartracingseries.com.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the pit completely. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
For these drivers, it isn't about the largest purse in Lionheart history, it's about keeping the memory of Dan Weldon alive. Any one of the 42 drivers can win, but to do so, they will need speed and determination. Rookies must battle hardened veterans, and all must conquer an assortment of roads and ovals.
On the inside, can he make it stick? He loses momentum. No, he cannot make it stick. Race pulls ahead. There's nothing they touch. The winner is going to be Big Joe. No, it's Stouffer. I called him wrong. He's going to try to close the door out of pit exit, and I think he has to lose.
With a history of double-digit winners per season, the challenge will be harder than ever. Which one will ultimately be crowned Lionheart champion? You're watching the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment, the premier American open-wheel championship on iRacing, exclusively on GSRC.
Its inaugural race was July 3rd, 2014. And now, just over 3 years later, the Lionheart IndyCar Series, presented by First Medical Equipment, celebrates its 3rd anniversary of operations at the place where it all began. This afternoon, it's the HPP Simulation 200 from the Michigan International Speedway, and all the DW12 action from Green Flag to Victory Donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. From the Wolverine State, welcome to Von Hansen's Countdown to Green. Over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the HPP Simulation 200 that will immediately follow. Way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by Sean Crackers Ambrose. In the production van is the Best Director in SimRacing Broadcasting, Amjad Yaman, armed with camera, locations, created, aimed, zoomed, and focused by our own in-house Director of Photography, Dougie Beer. Considered the premier fixed setup racing league for the Dallara DW12 on the iRacing service, the Lionheart IndyCar Series honors the memory of the late Dan Weldon. And now we kick off the second half of this 24-race Season 5 schedule at the track where the series made its debut. And to get a driver's perspective on Michigan and a driver who was there for that very first race, I think Sean's got a hold of somebody very special right now.
Oh, very special indeed. The founder of the Lionheart IndyCar Series, Mr. George Gonzalo, driver of the number 6 Lionheart DW12. Sir, welcome in this evening, George. Quite an exciting time. Congratulations on making 3 years, man.
Thanks a lot, Sean. How you doing, Soup, as well? It's been a great run, 3 years, and here we are back at Michigan where it all started. So we're really excited, and we're pumped up for tonight, ready to kick the second half off tonight.
An exciting second half coming up, indeed. I believe we've got eight ovals and 4 more road courses to go. And where do you find yourself factoring into one of those, George?
Well, I had a little bit of tough luck this year. I missed Indy due to some internet issues, so I'm quite behind in the points. But I'm just gonna go for it. I just enjoy racing here with the guys, and week in, week out, we just try to do our best and have fun.
Man, I know we don't have nearly enough time to talk about your adventures to the cornfield there in Iowa with the rest of your teammates there from the Lionheart IndyCar Series. I guess one question: did you guys have a good time?
Oh, it was a blast. There were 11 league members and some family members and friends of league members. It was just a great time. We're getting bigger and better each year. Actually met some people who are watching the series, came over and said hi, which was really neat.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to next year. It's going to be even bigger.
George, real quick, Michigan. How does it feel out there tonight? What do you think about the set, and what do you think about maybe trying to make another stab at another green to checker run like we did last season?
You know what? The set is great. The draft feels pretty good. Car's stable. It will start to get skatey on you at the end of the run, getting down to around 2 gallons. If you're working the bottom a little too much, those tires are going to give, and it's a handful holding on to it towards the end. I think traffic is going to be, not too bad. I think the guys are ready, and we're ready to put on a good show.
Yeah, I would say, based on my experience in the practice race on Monday night, I agree with you. That it gets a little sketchy towards the end when that fuel tank starts to lighten up just a bit. George, good luck this evening. Have a great run, and hopefully we get another chance to talk to you again tonight.
Oh, that'd be something. All right, have a good night, guys. We'll see ya.
All right, and that is George Gonzalo, driver of the number 6 Lionheart IndyCar DW12, and that interview, as well as most everything on the Countdown to Green show, is brought to you thanks to Von Hansen's Meat Market. Yeah, Bill. Since 1983, Von Hansen's has delivered personalized, full service, and a friendly, old-fashioned meat market environment. They offer a large and ever-expanding selection of meat products and menu ideas, ranging from casual gatherings to special occasions. For more information, please visit vonhansens.com. Now, let's talk a little bit about this great track. Michigan International Speedway opened in 1968, situated on 1,400 acres in the scenic Irish Hills area of southeastern Michigan, 4 miles south of the village of Brooklyn, not to be confused with Brooklyn, New York. Now, with nearby Detroit being home base for U.S. car manufacturing compared to most other track car owners, always feel a touch more pressure to succeed at this one. This 2-mile D-shaped oval has 18 degrees of banking, modest by NASCAR standards, but steep for Indy cars, which means wide open, fast, green flag racing. This track is noted for being wide, allowing for multiple racing lines, but the best way to get an idea what this place is really like is to jump on board with the GSRC DW12 and take a lap around Michigan International Speedway.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Brian Yazik, and today I'll be taking you for a spin around the Michigan International Speedway. A big, wide open, 2-mile oval that is sure to put on a great show for drivers and fans alike. Now for your qualifying time, you're going to run a run around the bottom of the track, but not the very, very bottom. The way that the track flattens out down here is not very conducive to a good lap time. So you're actually going to want to run about a seam above that, or exactly what will happen to me is what will happen to you. You'll push out to that fence. Going into turn 3, once again, try to find that bottom seam before the white line right here, and just let the car roll all the way through the corner, really not having to lift at any point in this lap. Now, later on in the run, what you might see is guys start to come up the track a little bit as the tires and the fuel both burn off. So you're going to see them probably run the second groove and then right kind of back down into the bottom groove here, swinging it right back off of the corner, keeping the car right near the wall. But you actually might see guys down by the white line as well trying to defend the inside. Same for turns 3 and 4. Find that second groove. You're going to have to play with the throttle just a little bit, but it's going to give you a great shot of speed off of the corner, and it's going to let you draft up on whoever is in front of you to try to set up the pass to get into a winning situation. My name is Brian Yazik, and this was a spin around the Michigan International Speedway.
Brian Yazik taking us around Michigan. He's not here with us tonight. He's watching the NASCAR trucks at Eldora, but before he left, he was able to get that guide in for us. Thank you very much for that, Brian. And now before we look at the point standings, keep in mind that we're going to start the second half of the season. The points do reflect these 3 drop races that are allowed for in the rules. Now look on top, you got Jake Wright, No Name Racing up there. He's won 2 in a row, 3 out of the last 4. He's picked up his first oval win of the season last time out at Milwaukee. Right behind him, Dan Guerin for Team Nailed It. 8 races since his last win. That was a twin ring Motegi, the oval. He leads everybody, though, with the most laps led. Andrew Havakets Kinsella for Adrenaline Motorsports. Man, he had his worst finish of the season, 26 at Sonoma, and then followed that up by missing Milwaukee. Sits in 3rd, just a little bit back. Jonathan Goke, Team Nailed It, sits in 4th, but will be falling down the chart, as Sean will explain a little bit later. Ryan Otis, Streamline Racing. Yet to win, but a 2nd on the oval at Kentucky and a road course as well. Had a 2nd as Mosport. Pierre Nightingale, No Name Racing. There was best finish of the season last time out, a 2nd at the Milwaukee Mile. And let's talk quickly about Michael Gray, who has completed the most laps of any driver this season. Now let's move to the team standings. Not a lot to talk about here as the top 4 teams all held station. The big mover, though, over the last couple rounds has been Dragonfly Racing. Up 2 spots last time, Dustin Wardlow, Ed King Tutwiler, and Patrick, My Mother Was a Tailor, has that team climbing 1 more spot this round, now into 5th. And with some teams ahead of them forced to race shorthanded for the rest of the season, more positions are possible. Sean, what else you got to look at?
Soup, my mama was a Rolling Stone, but that's okay. Let's look at the rookie standings, buddy. And as we go forward here, it's halfway point of the season. Yeah, it's Kinsella still there up top. Ryan Otis, though, has continued his assault towards the top of these rookie standings. Just 57 point backs. 3rd place, Michael Goodman. Scott Bolster, 4th right now. Dustin Wardlow, 5th. All these drivers really having great seasons. But, you know, the early strength of Kinsella has made it really, really tough. Put a lot of distance between him and the rest of these guys. Jägerliner, we'll talk about him in a few minutes there in 6th. Paulson, 7th. Go all the way back to 13th. And Brian Greenlee, who was somewhat of a late addition, finds him there at the end of the field. Now, let's look at the manufacturer's standings and see Toyota still sitting on top right now. Now, Chevrolet has themselves in a decent spot here halfway through the season. A couple of wins and a little bit of consistency gives them a shot there at Toyota. But boy, Mazda, quite a ways back there in 3rd, but consistency out of them and maybe a win or 2 keeps them there in the top 3 because it's a long way back to the blue oval. Ford sitting there in 4th and Honda even a little bit further back. It really looks like there may be a fight between Honda and Mercedes-Benz heating up. We'll see, but Tesla finds themselves at the bottom with just 302 points right now in 7th. Now, we'll move on to the Sim Money standings, and we'll see where everybody's at here soon. Right now, Jake Wright is the man, almost $1.5 million, just a little bit shy. No one there over $1.5 million yet. Kinsella down to $1.184 million. Michael Gray just over $1 million right now in 3rd. Dan Guerin very close behind him there in 4th. A bit of a stack up there in the top 5 for the money standings. Then you fall back to under $1 million. Jonathan Goke on back to Pierre Degla there with $500,000 in 10th.
There you go, and qualifying's underway as they're out there putting in those times. Now, let's quickly put up for the new viewers who aren't familiar with the series. Let's show the elaborate series details here. And Sean, we'll talk about a few of the points. Let's talk about the 6th item down there. Now, I thought you and George Anzaldo in the pre-race interview covered the setups that are open and what to expect. What I think the fans and what I want to know is, will the lap times fall off much on our long run?
Well, what I will tell you that in qualifying specific, they do have a special qualifying setup that has very, very minimum amount of fuel in it. So there aren't the 2 setups. It is a fixed setup that was set up by the league and agreed upon by the league. Now, will that setup change over the course of the race? Yes, it will, because, your tendency here at Michigan is to want to try and fight down on the bottom and pick up as many positions down on the bottom of the track as you can. Some drivers they'll push the car to its limit and try and ride down there as much as they can. That comes at a cost on these tires, and as the fuel starts to run out of the tank soon, I will tell you, the car becomes very, very sketchy at this track. Now, it's 92 degrees on track. That could be a factor as the race wears on. Other important thing to know is that we've got a limited fuel cell in this car. When I say limited, it's not at 100% fuel. It's only good for about 29 laps. So you start to do the math of a 100-lap race. What we're looking at here, probably talking 2 to 3 pit stops.
Well, why don't we go ahead and look at the overlay here for the event details. As you heard Sean talking about the 100 laps, 200 miles is our distance, and the 75%. Looking for a fuel stint of about 29, so 3 stops is what we're thinking, unless they're lying to me. If they can go 33, maybe they can do it in 2. Sean, let's go ahead. We've talked about the pit stops and everything. Let's go ahead and talk about... go down and as commentators, this is something that there's never fun to talk about, and that's one of the drivers. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention one of our top tier drivers not going to be with us right now.
Yeah, Soup, and we'll cover that just real quickly here. Jonathan Goke right now been suspended indefinitely. I guess not right now, but indefinitely, meaning through the end of the season. He's had too many avoidable contacts within the last 4 races, and it certainly doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It's just his driving style got the best of him, I think, for this series. And now the deadline's passed for teams to be able to change, and so that nailed it in a situation right now where they're a 2-car team of Dan Guerin and Michael Gray.
Qualifying is done, so it's time to go racing. And when it is time to go sim racing, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulations. Designed, manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. And with qualifying out of the way, let's go ahead and run down our starting order. On the pole, well, it's no surprise who to see up there. It is Jake Wright. Boy, he's on a roll. But look at this, the rookie, Michael Goodman, outside of row 1.
Ooh, I like the way that first row looks. Go back to row 2, Dan Guerin and Ron Hacker. Great effort by Hacker.
Row 3 filled up by Jason Galvin and Chris Stouffer.
Row 4, Andrew Kinsella, Tony Showen.
Bottom of the overlay, Brandon Limkeman and George Anzaldo.
All right, row 6, Chris Lanini, Pierre Degla.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it is Joe Branch. In the 14th position, it is Bob Michaels.
All right, row 8, George Adams and Brian Greenlee.
Dave Whammy Barber, the guitar-playing accountant, sitting in 17th spot just inside of Vincent Blumenthal.
Okay, and we'll go to row 10, James Paulson and Ryan Otis.
All right, I did a Lotus 79 race earlier, and I was informed that this new driver coming into the series is pronounced Woodrow Mahan, and this goes against Hunter Mahan, a golfer that I know so well, spells it exactly the same. But I'll go with Mahan. I'll go with what they're telling me. Move along, Soup, in the double deck position, Matthew Mercer.
Woodrow Mahan, a Premier Racing League driver, now making his start here in the DW12s with the Lionheart. Jason Robar's James Scarula there in row 12.
Ed King Tutwiler and Dustin Wardlow, 25th and 26th.
All right, and row 14 going to be Robert Bluen and Jack Bogan.
Patrick Taylor and the Racing Kangaroo from down under, Michael Gray, filling up row 15.
Row 16, Pete Edwins and the Big Joe Show. Big Joe Hasser, 32nd.
Then the final three drivers, we have Frank Beezer, and then, of course, Jesse Vincent is up in the booth. Mark Omrick will be racing with us. Sean, how about in-car cameras?
Yes, sir. We're going to go to Patrick Taylor first in the first medical on-board camera tonight. He'll be giving us some great pictures from that machine. Dragonfly Racing Zone there. Now let's go on to Mike Goodman. He's in the AGR Motorsports on-board camera this evening.
Nobody in front of him but the pace car.
No. And his teammate, George Anzalo, with the Lock Precision onboard camera. Now we'll be working with and following George quite a bit tonight through his trek around Michigan. We wish him the best, and a great interview with him this week.
Very good interview, and it's great to see the Lionheart series. And I thought it was interesting as he talked about the fun time that they had when they all went to Iowa, how it's getting bigger every time, and now people are actually coming over to them who've been watching us on GSRC. How wonderful that is. And George Anzaldo starting in the 10th position back there outside of row 5 as they come around the corner number 4. We're going to get this underway. 200 laps. This place is notorious for green flag runs. In fact, season 3, they went wire to wire green all the way. But right now the pace car is in. That turns it over to Jake Wright out in front. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it's your point leader, two-time champion Jake Wright, leading the Stampede down into the first corner. Looking on the inside now, down low, that is Dandy Dan Guerin as he tucks into second. The rookie Michael Goodman drops into third. You see the familiar yellow and blue colors of KGET machine. That's Galvin. Stuck on the high side, Ron Hacker. He might be in trouble now because here's Chris Stoffer to duck in. Now, Sean, they get it pretty well strung out there. Looks pretty good all the way through the fields. They come around turn 4.
Boy, howdy, the horses are out of the barn indeed. Woodrow Mahan, one of those drivers making a charge already early.
As we look on there, now that's Wright who's fallen back behind. Dan Guerin did it on the top side, something to note. So Dave and Penny's baby boy up to the lead. In fact, Wright now being challenged, this time on the low side, as the rookie Michael Goodman comes in. And Sean, we keep saying that Goodman's going to get a win. Maybe today is the day. Watch the yellow and blue car down there. That's the KGET machine of Jason Galvin, the Bakersfield driver, now in third. And while that's going on, a pass for the lead. Oh, what a difference a week makes from compared to what we saw in Milwaukee, where passing was at such a premium. My goodness, I think they can pass whenever they like right now.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a shuffle out here today, Soup, indeed. Vincent Blumenthal on the top side here, back in 18th place, being followed by Ryan Otis. Then they got Dave, is that Dave Barber, I think, right in front of them? Yes, it is. Dave Barber to number 23. His Lock Precision DW12 leading that little group.
Very, very close racing all the way back. In fact, they were all within striking distance. The between first and, let's drop down that last time around, between first and 34th was only 5 seconds. The top 20 drivers were all within 3 seconds of each other.
Oh, Ed Tutwiler. And I think it was Woodrow Mahan get into it.
Yeah, those 2 yellow cars there, and they pick up another driver. They got Dustin Wardlow, and then Wardlow, oh my goodness, the guy in the very back, Mark Armrook, gets into him.
Yeah, Wardlow up into the fence. This is going to be really, really bad. When it looks like Ed might have started to drift up a little bit there, Soup, and they make contact, and then it's just...
Yeah, that was Tutwiler inside the blue car there, and then Mahan right behind him. And and those two cars make contact, Tutwiler really gets turned.
Wow.
And then he collects. That's Dustin Wardlow gets into it. He flies up into the catch fence.
You know,
what a good view. The racing kangaroo.
I was just about to say.
You saw that?
Yeah.
He went between them. Watch him right there. He goes right underneath. Between and through.
I think he got through that unscathed. I think we're going to want forward with the racing car. There he is in the black and yellow car. There he is. The race center DW12 here. Here's Mike up on the high side. He sees them start to stack up, and he gets through them.
The kangaroo found the rabbit hole and just kind of shot through there. Nice job. So some big names out. You know, we showed it up there on the overlay, the details. No fast repairs here in the Lionheart series. This is big boy race it. You break it, you bought it. And those cars are going to be hard to come back from.
Well, and I was going to say, I think that's going to mean the end of the night already for Woodrow Mahan. He's out of the car. Well, he's back in the car now, but there's a lot of damage on that DW12. I'm afraid that car is going to be in the pit for a while, and when it does come back out, I don't think it'll be too competitive. Tough way to get started here in the Lionheart IndyCar Series.
The Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, also involved in that one. He's going to be several laps down. Frank Beezer, the blue and yellow machine, he's having some trouble as well. And then we saw poor Mark Omrick. He was back there at the very back, just sitting back there minding his own business. And there were cars everywhere. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, Jack Bogan also caught up in that too.
So what does that mean up front? Well, Jason Galvin in that familiar KGET machine out in front. Of course, Jason on the morning show there in Bakersfield and always has the checker tie ready to wear on air the next morning when he gets one of these wins. Right now, sitting in pretty good shape for that. Stouffer, Goodman, Wright, and Ron Hacker make up your top five. No takers. Too early to come in for anybody. Some of the guys in the back are going to come in and top off a little bit.
Yeah, I think the clean air is the best place to be right now. And I think if you're up there somewhere near the front, I think that's exactly where you want to be. No reason fooling around with a pit stop right yet. The view up front is good. I did notice something a moment ago on Jason Galvin's helmet. Seems to be going with, and I don't know if we're picking this up on our cameras, hopefully we are, going with the Iron Man look in the cockpit there. Kind of cool looking. I hadn't seen that one yet.
Okay.
Our director's zooming in on that now.
As he comes in. Well, let's hope he doesn't have to fly.
Yeah, well, we've already seen a couple cars do that. I don't think that's the key to winning this evening.
Let's put the camera on the car running in 24th position right now. Peter Edwins, as he's up one of our hard chargers. He started in 31st. He's up 7 positions.
Time to unleash the beast once again.
They're coming around. Corner number 4, our pace car out in front. That beautiful iRacing machine going to duck in there. Turn it over to Jason Galvin. Galvin's familiar with being up front. His Achilles heel so far has been pit lane. Nothing he has to worry about, at least for the next, I'd say 23, 24 laps now. Galvin takes him down into the first corner. Stouffer, Goodman, Wright, and Hacker follow suit. Oh, Sean, what a difference. Look how they are so much stringed out. Really don't get back to a battle. Back to maybe, I guess, Paulson back in 21st and Mercer.
Well, George Anzaldo right now getting by Chris Lanini, trying to take the spot, going into turn 3. He's got it. Battle for the lead up front, Sue.
Yeah, use battle. We got to get the camera on him. It's Chris Stouffer. Passing is so easy up here. These 4 guys trying to see if they can distance themselves right now. Stouffer ahead of Galvin, Goodman, and Wright. Remember, Wright was your pole sitter. I think he's just happy sitting back there. Oh! Galvin almost got up into it. He had to check up, and they're going to blow by him now. There goes Goodman, and there goes Wright. Woo-hoo-hoo! Sweet Sassy Molassie, that was close as Galvin almost got into the side of Stouffer. And what that does now, that not only is Galvin falls back, that's going to bring in the rest of these guys, which was once a party of 4, now is a party of, my goodness, about 9. Showing back there. Oh, and who is that? That's Galvin way down inside. Is he loose again? Galvin is struggling.
Yeah, he was. He is struggling with it right now. We can get a quick replay of that
see
here.
What happened. The car now, it might have been, you know what? Guerin got into him. That's what it was. Guerin drifted up. Watch this. Guerin on the inside. Got him. Jason does a great job of catching that.
Yeah, and he was on the radio trying to get a report from the guys around him, want to know if he had any damage on the car. I don't see any. The KGET thumbs up, cancer down, DW12 seems to be good. It's going by George Anzalvo now.
Well, the car is fast, and yeah, I think it was a pretty innocuous hit. I think he's going to be okay. Let's go up. We got to follow this pass up here for the front now. This is Andrew Kinsella, have a catch, making a move as he goes around Hacker, moving up into 4th. Kinsella now beginning to race with the sword of Damocles hanging over him. He was the leader for so long, but now things are slipping away from him. He'd like to get a good result. He hasn't had a win since the opening round at Homestead. Out in front for the time being is Michael Goodman, but as I speak, Sean, we have a new leader. Chris Stouffer.
Yes, we do. He's back in the lead again. And Soup, by the way, anytime we can get a Sword of Damocles reference in a broadcast, that's radio gold as far as I'm concerned, all right? Ooh, Dan Guerin with a sketchy moment back here. Oh, trying to get around Joe Branch. Being followed by Pierre Degla. Degla going to look to the inside. No, he's going to back off, let Dan go. Ooh, that was close when they got by Lanini back out of turn 2. Now Guerin with quite a run, trying to get to Galvin.
This is a nice, these guys have fallen off the pace a little bit. If you go back to like 7th position, Galvin leading this group. You see him up in front. Then there's the swarm behind him. And Zaldo going to the inside now is Dan Guerin, who had the issues. Guerin moving up into 8th. Sean talked about Degla back there in his black and yellow machine. Working the top side. Guerin losing position. Here comes that bright yellow car of Joe Branch down low underneath Guerin.
Yeah, Joe running that classic Pennzoil scheme. Gotta love it, man. He is hot tonight.
Then watching the whole thing back in 12th, but still within striking distance. Lanini. Brandon Limkeman.
Oh,
that making a move, Bob Mikas, yeah.
Yeah, Bob Mikas, Stefan Hansen's Meat Market, DW12. Remember, folks, they have 24 locations.
Yeah, the party that went to Iowa was really hoping that Bob Mikas was responsible for, I think, lunch.
Yeah, no, they all had Von Hansen's finest beef jerky, sauces and rubs. Yeah, they used it all. I'm still enjoying my care package. Beef jerky's been gone for weeks, though, Sue.
Yeah, I would imagine it would have been gone by now. Pass for the lead, Stouffer, for what it is around Goodman. And this is going to happen a lot. And folks, we can't document every pass for the lead because it's happening so easy here. But right now, Stouffer, Goodman, and Wright. What I think is more important than the pass for the lead is just, as you can see, that's the choreography now as Goodman goes back down underneath. It's that those 3 cars are doing a little bit of a dance, and they are beginning to distance themselves. Wright is now about almost just under a second ahead of Ron Hacker.
Boy, Stouffer just gets Goodman at the line there, just by a wing maybe. But they just keep trading him back and forth, Soup.
Now that is something to note, though, if you can make that pass out of 4 and get the lead before you get to the start-finish line. And here's the leapfrog again. This is how it's done in these open-wheel cars. You're not going to see bump drafting like you see in with the bumpers like NASCAR. What they do is this leapfrog, and they pick up 2 or 3 spots on the 2 or 3 car lengths on the front row, 2 or 3 car lengths on the back straight. And that time, Stouffer makes the move underneath, but was he credited with leading the lap? No, he didn't get there that time, so something to remember. Things are settling down now, Sean. This is kind of what we expected after we had that early incident. We talked about the cars running all the way back to 14th with the Limkeman. Let's go back and talk about this driver all by himself in 15th. George Adams. For the life of me, I cannot find a nickname for this guy, but it's coming, George. Just haven't found one that's going to settle in there. But right now, he's in 15th. Great battle behind him, though. This is Ryan Otis on the top side in that yellow, in the red and white HPP machine. Underneath the familiar car, the rainbow colors of Jason Rabarge. And now look at the yellow car. That's the Racing Kangaroo making a move underneath. The white car up there is on the top side. That's Brian Not Easy Being Greenlee. He's got Kermit on the right behind his helmet. James Paulson and Matthew Mercer, the red and blue car that close out that little pack. Well, no, Dave Whammy Barber back there in that brightly rimmed machine. Dave Barber, the guitar-playing accountant. Sean, did you hear the funny story about the accountant?
No, Soup, I didn't.
Nobody has.
I think you're going to tell. Oh. Let's see what you did there.
My wife told me to be nice to Dave. Stop picking on him because he's a guitar player. Now I've chosen his profession. Meanwhile, up in front, it's still the three cars up in front. Whoever wants to lead. Go ahead, Sean.
Boy, we had James Paulson up in the wall out of 2. Scary moment for him, and even scarier for Dave Barber. He was right behind him, and Dave clips him.
Wow.
But I don't think Dave picked up any damage on that number 23 Lock Precision Honda.
Yeah, Barber did a good job of getting off the gas. I'm sure Paulson in that red machine, I don't think he got hurt either. I think he's running in pretty good shape.
A little bit of damage on the right wing, but very, very small. I think he can survive that, Soup. Listen, a couple things to note here. Unfortunately, James Garula had some sort of a connection issue. He's fallen out, and that car is behind the wall right now. Tough break for James. That happened just a few laps ago, Soup.
Let's go to 22nd. My spidey senses are tingling here. This is Peter Edwin in a battle on the top side. Is that red car that we saw in the wall. That's Paulson. And then also aggressive back here is Vincent Blumenthal. Watch him in that kind of, what colors are those, Sean? Kind of white and blue, powder blue and white car.
Yeah, it's a bit of a powder keg right now.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Look at the run.
Paulson,
there's no
Edwin's. Jeez, there is no room right there. Edwin's in that Area 51 Racing DW12. He's going to hang on to it down there on the bottom, Soup.
And checking up. Blumenthal had to check up. I was afraid he was going to get into Paulson right now, so he backs out of it. But my goodness, look how far you can drop back. Maybe 10 car lengths and still get in the tow. Get sucked back up. Sean, we're getting real close here. We're on lap 26. Now, we've had one yellow. The stint was 29. I figure they can maybe go to lap 31 or 32. And then we'll see guys start to come in.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time right now.
What about going a lap down? Any chance of that, you may be asking? Well, no, I don't think so. The last car out there on the lead lap, I believe it is Patrick Taylor. We're going to look at him right now. We look ahead. And really, that's all there is to look at ahead because there's nothing behind right now. He is only 10 seconds off the lead. That's pretty amazing still. Lap times of 32 seconds, so he has no worries about going a lap down.
Yeah, they've really, really spread out here, Sue. I mean, you've got basically, I don't know, a spread basically that stretches about halfway around the track from nose to tail. Up front, Goodman getting the position back from Stouffer.
Right, and let's update. Let's look at Wright for a second. Remember, last time we talked about that as we talked about the interval between Wright. He had it almost up to a second. Well, Hacker now running in fourth, and Andrew Kinsella. Those guys have been leapfrogging back and forth. They're only about a half second back. In fact, as they consider right now, now you see the car of Kinsella making the move on the inside in his familiar kind of teal-colored cool machine there as he gets that done underneath.
Yes, sir. And we've got pit stop starting to happen. Here we go. Jason Galvin's coming in. Pierre Degla is on the pit lane, rolling into his stop now. Oh, boy. Yeah, there's the leader coming in. Michael Goodman making his call. Watch these pit entrances here. Soup, it's going to be very, very tricky.
Goodman comes in. Now, you will fall more than a lap down when you get this stop made. So right now, these guys who are pitting early, they do not want to see a yellow. They want to see this cycle around. If you could get in and out before you go a lap down, you wouldn't mind the yellow. Get that pit stop made. Look at the party coming our way.
Soup, you have been vindicated, sir.
How is that?
It is Woodrow Mahan.
Ha ha!
Wow. I've been calling him Woodrow Mahan for probably a year and a half now.
Somebody on our YouTube chat came in and said that to us?
Woodrow himself.
Woodrow.
Man, look at all these guys coming down pit road right now.
Let me get this straight. Woodrow's out there racing and able to correct our pronunciation of his name.
Woodrow, unfortunately, Woodrow taking that car behind the wall.
Oh, that's right. He had the early. There we go.
Yeah. All right, Jake Wright finally coming down.
Dave Barber, the last one out there. Nope, and he's coming as well. Taxes are due, baby. So with everybody in, we would assume that Michael Goodman will be out first, and he seems to be the leader of all the cars that have pitted. Well, of the recently pitted. We'll see how that plays out right now.
All right, well, Goodman comes around, and he will come back around and slot into fifth. Jake Wright just gets by him. Goodman up to fourth.
Now we do have an interesting little mix here. We have three cars that did the top off: Bluen, Taylor, and Joe Hassard. And in fact, have they come in as well? Yes. Well, Joe has not. Has Hassard come in? Hassard is staying out. Is he going to be our new leader?
Yeah, Big Joe, Patrick Taylor, and Robert Bluen. All three of them still need to come in, Soup. They're at the end of their fuel run, just about. Here comes Big Joe. The Big Joe Show. Bringing it down pit lane in the Arctic Cat. Number 11 there.
So that means Bluen and...
there we go. Robert Bluen making his call there, Soup.
Patrick Taylor saying out there, I'm not going to sing your nickname anymore. Do my little animal impression there. House of the Rising Sun lyric. Well, now that's out of the way. Now things should settle out. And look who it is. A little bit of a surprise. It's Tony Schowen out there in front. He's got Goodman right behind him. Stouffer now, look at this, Kinsella and Wright now. So Wright has fallen back a few more positions.
Deals being made out here. Guys talking to each other, looking for a little bit of help. As we complete these pit cycles, Jake Wright getting around Andrew Kinsella. You know, Jake Wright is this defending race winner. He only led the final 3 laps of that race after passing Dan Guerin before that race-ending caution flag last year.
Led the most important one.
That's right.
Coming across now, completing lap 36, it is Tony Schowen. Don't worry, fans, we do have a trivia question for you. We'll bring it into you. The next yellow flag, we'll give it to you. I think it's an easier one this time. We got to reward you a little bit.
I don't think it's as easy as you think, Sue.
That's assuming that we actually have a yellow flag right now.
On board with Michael Goodman now. Let's see.
And we look at this is interesting because if you look here, we're on board with Goodman as he goes underneath Shallon. Now, what's interesting, the car that's right behind him that's racing with good pace, this is James Paulson. You remember Paulson had that trouble earlier. He is a lap down. Let me make sure he's only one lap down. I'll double check this. Yeah, Paulson just one lap down. Sean, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember, but it seems like there is no lucky dog in the Lionheart series. There's no lucky dog in open wheel racing.
No. You got to earn it, buddy.
Yeah, well,
got to earn it.
That's what James trying to do right now. Is he would like to get around these guys, but my goodness, look at the choreography between Goodman and Shallon. Here they come back here as they do the cha-cha-cha, 1-2 cha-cha-cha, and you see the car of Shallon get underneath without slowing down. The trick is you don't want to slow down the guy you're passing. You just dig under him. And there you have it.
Ooh, wow. Really close moment back there with Jason Galvin, Andrew Kinsella. Galvin just slid right up across his nose, almost took it off. Wow, that would have ended both races right there. See it here on the replay. Wow.
Galvin has had his share of excitement. First of all, he had the incident with Guerin, and then that one right there. But look what he's done. That car is really, you want a car to keep an eye on, and that is that blue and yellow KGET machine. He's really working it right now as he's behind Kinsella and Wright. What I think we can do, let's catch our breath here, and let's run down maybe. Sean, we'll do them 5 at a time. If these boys will behave, we'll run down, maybe get back to 20th position. Your leader, Michael Goodman, out in front for now. Of course, he's dancing with Tony Shallon. Before I finish this comment, Shallon has made the pass. There's your front 2. You got to go a little bit farther back to another dancing team right now. At his 3rd position, Andrew Kinsella just got around Stouffer. And then right up into the wall, that's Jason Galvin in 5th. Sean?
Yes, sir. And then you're going to go back to 6th, where it's Jake Wright right now. Sitting there nestled in that 6th spot. Following Galvin around, then it's Pierre Degla in 7th. Bob Mikas in a very close battle with them. He sits there in 8th. Ron Hacker in 9th. And George Anzano just gets by Joe Branch to go up to 10th.
Yeah, Branch in that yellow car, sitting back in 11th position. Branch right now off the pace a little bit, but still plenty of time. In fact, he's going to go back underneath. The guys watching them back in 12th and 13th, that's Chris Lanini. And way back there farther than we would expect is David Penny's baby boy. He qualified 3rd, running in 13th right now, still with plenty of time to get up. And of course, I'm talking about Dan Guerin. Then a little duet going on in the back there. There goes the Fire and Arts machine, 14th position, Brandon Blimkeman. Just gets underneath Jason Robarge. Who's in 16th, Sean?
That would be the Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray.
Not for long.
Not for long, that's right. That's George Adams getting by there. George up to 16th, Michael Gray in 17th, and then Ryan Otis still back in 18th, trying to get up towards the front. Vincent Blumenthal, 19th. 20th right now belongs to the Canadian Robert Bluen.
Come on, we'll keep going here since things are settling down a little bit. Brian, it's not easy being Greenlee back in 21st position behind Bluen, trying to get that pass made there. Watching him. 2 more cars racing together. Big Joe Hassert. In fact, Big Joe's being passed right now by Dave Barber. Let me take that back. Barber tries to go underneath. Can't make it work. Big Joe gets it back, so that battle for 22nd continues. 24th, Patrick Taylor. And then the last car on the lead lap. Haven't heard much from him so far. 22 seconds behind the leader, Matthew Mercer. And there's all the cars on your lead lap. I'd like to give a big shout out and a thank you to all the drivers in this race for letting Sean and I get through it. So often, Sean, we try one of those rundown and we get about 4 drivers and then somebody puts it in the wall. The gap between the front runners, let's say it's Goodman right now, 1.3 seconds before we get back to this big herd of cars. Stouffer, Kinsella, Paulson, Galvin, Wright, Micus, they're all back there.
Well, you know what? George and Zaldo in a really, really good battle right now with Joe Branch. Why don't we take a moment to look at George as he fights his way through this race and continues to battle for that 10th spot. George, the AGR Motorsports driver, this is he's had 79 career starts. So best finish was back in season 3, that wonderful event there at Iowa. He takes first place, and then he comes back in season 4 and sits on the pole. That was his best start. Iowa, obviously one of his favorite tracks, and we still have to go there. Top 10, 16, top 5, 6. George got that one win under his belt. You know what? I like his chances tonight, man. He's running pretty well, and for the most part, stayed out of trouble. A little good fortune might be up ahead for him if he can just remain consistent and not get in too many of these battles where he's running wheel to wheel and having to fight so much. It's going to take a lot of work to get to the top, but George said he was ready for this battle tonight. He had a few guys on his list that he wanted to try and finish ahead, and boy, really close getting by Joe Branch there. You see him run up on him,
and of course
that's back up to 10th.
And Zaldo is the A in AGR Racing. He's 26th in the drop race points right now. Not quite what he wanted. 23rd, though, in the simulated money, so at least he's not putting the car in the wall as much. Best result so far this season was the 10th at Texas. Still looking to lead a lap. George Anzaldo, our spotlighted driver today. Well, we thought it could go green, and sure enough, it looks like we're going to get it as we are hustling through. As they come across the line, they are working lap number 50. I'm not great in math, but that's halfway, right, Sean?
That's right, buddy. Halfway.
Okay. And with that said, the dance team of Goodman and Showen continue to put on a show with a 1.5 second lead over 3 cars that are chasing them, Stouffer, Kinsella, and Wright. And I think now at the halfway mark, these guys have got to start thinking about, we may not get another yellow. We need to start actually getting serious here. 50 laps will go by pretty fast. Well, when you figure about 30 seconds a lap, 50 laps, that's about 25 minutes. And me and my wife will be having pizza and watching Big Brother. That's right. Missing Big Brother to call this race. And I tell you, that Joshua guy is such a baby. Pass for the lead up front. Michael Goodman gets passed by Tony Showen. Oh, we got the Racing Kangaroo. Michael Gray bounces it off. He gets loose in 4. Now, is he off the racing line? I think he is.
He is, Soup, and it does not trigger a caution. He stops dead in the grass and is able to pull down pit lane. Heavily damaged. Oh, big trouble for the Kangaroo.
That was painful.
He just got loose there, Soup. Well, yeah, you know,
Sean, you talked about we're getting about 23 laps into a stint, so we're getting close to the end, like you and George were talking about in the pre-race show.
Yeah, and he may have been working those tires pretty hard there on the bottom, unfortunately, and boy, that really jumped up a bit. And Pierre Degla making the call. He's coming down pit lane soon.
And this is kind of early. I mean, not all that early, but he's on a 24 lap, 25. I would have thought he could go at least maybe 3 more laps, but I guess he's time to come and get, maybe want to get in and out before things get too busy down in pit lane.
Yeah, not sure exactly what the strategy is here, but 25 laps and he's in.
Now, we're not good to go from here. They're coming in and now. They're going to make this stop just over the halfway mark. They'll have 1 more to go. Looking for anybody else at the... who has coming in. Nope, most of the big names stay out a little bit. Kinsella running in third position. Well, again, Chris Stouffer goes by him as I get the words out of my mouth. Sean, what a difference from what we just did at Milwaukee, where it was all about you get behind a guy you couldn't pass, and maybe saw 2 or 3 on-track passes that whole race. Mike, it's so easy here.
Yeah, and we never were able to seem to get going on a run. It was start and stop from the caution, and this race has had really, really good flow to it. Couple of surprises for me, though, past the halfway point here, to still find Dan Guerin back here just fighting for a top 10 spot, not up front contending.
Yeah, really.
Not concerned for him, but certainly surprised. George Gonzalo coming down pit lane, so we're starting to see several pit stops take place here now.
Big Joe Hassard, one of our biggest movers, he's up about a dozen spots. And now things are going to start to get busy. What you don't want to do is lose your dancing partner here. Goodman and Showen, I imagine they'll get this figured out, come in together. Here comes Big Joe having a good race. Oh, in fact, here they come. In fact, coming in now is getting a good run into pit lane. That is Chris Stouffer. Made up a ton of time on pit entry. Let's hope he's not going to get a speeding penalty. The blue and white car out in front, that is Goodman. The red car is Showen. The car that really closed up is the Hot Wheels machine of Chris Stouffer. They all hit their box at the same time. Next guy coming in, that's Ron Hacker up there.
Here comes Kinsella. Jake Wright will take over the lead and stay out. So will Bob Micah still stay on track, but Kinsella is in.
Goodman and Stouffer get out. Let's see if Showen can't get the car up to speed. Showen is really slow getting the car wound up. Right behind him that's Galvin running in fourth, trying to get the car, won't get it wound up right now. But it's Goodman and Stouffer out in front as the rest of the guys are starting to come in.
Kinsella's away. Dan Guerin came in just behind him. Guerin is away.
Let's look at Kinsella, because here comes our leaders right now. Well, the guys who were leading. And we're looking there as finding Kinsella. We can see how it was. I got a little bit lost myself. Did Goodman get around is what I'm trying to see. Goodman, oh yeah, way out in front. Goodman and Stouffer way out in front. They run in 10th position right now. Now let's look. This is Galvin. Let's go ahead and look at Galvin racing in 10th position. I believe this is literally for a... Well, no, he's back there racing with Showen and Wright. Wright comes out. There goes Showen by him. Kinsella. Galvin back in that mix. Out in front, it is the two-car dance team of Stouffer and Goodman. They are up by 1.3 seconds again, ahead of the guys that are chasing them. And once again, Sean, it's Bluen and Taylor who are in this little magic window. If a yellow could come right now, it'd be great for them.
And Bluen making the call now. Bluen and Taylor both coming in together. The Canadians working together there. Stouffer and Goodman. Their little battle, Kinsella just gets by Showen.
A pass for 5th position right now is Kinsella being passed by Showen. Now, if I can read my notes, the two-car dance team was Goodman and Showen originally, right? Before they came in. So Showen has fallen off, and he's been replaced by Chris Stouffer. Goodman and Stouffer going at it.
Boy, Galvin and Jake Wright wheel to wheel. Stouffer, Kinsella, look at this. Crazy.
Yeah, now, Jason's going to watch this broadcast and get mad at me, but I would give Jason a little room. Of all the drivers I've seen that seem to be really aggressive out there. Oh, aggressive is the wrong word.
He's a real go-getter.
Yeah,
He's a
okay.
real go-getter.
Yeah.
He's a self-starter.
Not all his doing. It just seems like trouble seems to find him right now.
Oh, Stouffer trying to pull off the move on Kinsella down to the inside.
See, in desperation now, these guys know they are a second behind the guys they got to catch. Schowen saying, I was just up there. How did that happen? Now Kinsella makes a move. Boy, Havaketch really needs to get a good result here. It's been a while. He's been on a slump. Had a bad result.
Soup, you want to take a quick break? I think maybe...
What we'll do, yeah, it looks like the pits window has settled down. What we'll do on the Global Sim Racing channel, we'll take a short break. We'll be back in just a second. Oh, we're going to go to our trivia question is what we're going to do. Okay, I didn't know what. I misread what's going on. All right, let's bring up the trivia question real quick now. Since we're in Detroit, it has kind of a Michigan feel to it here about a Detroit field. The trivia question is, before Toyota earned their first NASCAR win in 2008, what was the last non-Big Three car company, that's GM, Ford, or Chrysler, to win a NASCAR race, and who drove the car? So there you go. Now Sean came up with like Oldsmobile, but no, that's like a subsidiary of GM.
Yeah, right.
It's a non-Ford, non-Chrysler, non-GM car. Good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck indeed. I was all over the road with that one, Soup.
Now, while you think about that, oh, we're going to go to break, but no, we have an issue. We're looking at, it's Anzaldo George. The car got loose. Oh, my goodness.
Did he
had
save
it saved.
Did he save it? He did
I don't
save
think
it.
we go yellow.
He saved it. He got against the wall. He saved it. He's going to lose a lot of positions, but he saved the car.
Look at him get that back, but our spotlight driver does a good job of saving it. And with that, now we will take our break. Wait a minute, maybe not.
Boy,
He's looped it around.
Trouble.
This may bring out the yellow.
He pit.
He took a pit.
He took the toe.
He took a toe before the yellow came out. Boy, that's
wow.
All right. Now we've come back to live, and just as we come back to live, what we're going to do is take a short break here on GSRC, but we'll be back real quick to bring you the closing laps. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the HPP Simulation 200 from Michigan International Speedway. Round number 13 on the 24 race schedule. We start the second half. What we're going to do right now, Sean and I are going to try it one more time. Super Crackers going through the field 5 at a time here with about 25 laps of racing to go. Your leader, Chris Stouffer, for the time being, as he's being danced with Michael Goodman. They have about a 2-second lead over the next batch of cars. 3 of them are Andrew Kinsella, Tony Schowen, and, well, Sean, there he is. He's working his way up to 5th, Dan Guerin. All right, who's after Dan?
Yeah, we're going to go through these quick because they do keep changing. It's going to be Bob Mikas in 6th right now. Now he's making a run at Dan Guerin. Can't get it done from the top side. Just behind him, you've got Jason Galvin trying to get back up into this battle. Followed by him is another guy who wants to get back into the battle, and that's Jake Wright. Currently in 8th, and 9th is Ron Hacker, still hanging in there. Rounding out our top 10, Pierre Degla, still fighting to stay within this top 10. He's had a pretty good race so far, Sue. Staying out of trouble.
Right, the pole sitter has slowly been slipping down. Let's go back to 11th. These cars are still on the lead lap, and if a yellow were to come out, they'd be right in the hunt. This is, well, I was going to say Chris Lanini, but as I say that, Joe Branch gets around him. So Branch and Lanini running in 11th to 12th. That's Branch out in front in the yellow machine, Lanini back behind him. Well, Lanini underneath him, Lanini alongside of him, and Lanini out in front. Those guys race for 12th and 11th. Then you got to go way back to the Fire and Ice machine of Brandon Limkeman, racing in 13th, still on the lead lap. 14th, my goodness, haven't heard much from him. Jason Robarge back there in 14th position. And in 15, it is Ryan Otis, Sean.
Okay, 16th, George Adams. And then he's going to be followed by Vincent Blumenthal, who's been a lot higher up the field. Currently, though, finds himself back there in 17th. Robert Bluen, your 18th place driver right now. And he is being followed by Dave Barber, still slinging it out there. Dave making a move on Bluen now. And rounding out the top 20, going to be Patrick Taylor. So Taylor and Bluen not close to each other anymore, but still working the same strategy suit.
Yep, and that's Taylor in 20th, and the last car on the lead lap there is Matthew Mercer. Don't know if you got those. My mic went dead there for a little bit. But Taylor and Mercer in 20th and 21st, and that's all the cars on the lead lap. Sean?
Soup.
I don't want to miss it. I remember there are pit stops coming up.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's time yet. It won't be time until everybody gets that one last piece of business out of the way.
I like this, Soup. Something going on in the chat that we're getting official statements from teams and drivers regarding their runs this evening. Official statement from the 888, Michael Gray. Was working hard with George Adams to catch Jason Robarge, and Brandon Limkeman ended up hitting the wall on a turn 2, damaging the wishbone suspension. That's a summary, part of a summary of his evening.
Well, we appreciate that. That's good to know.
We'll get to Brian Greenlee's statement. He's got one as well. We'll get to that in a moment. Just picked up Jason Galvin there, slow on track. Was getting back up, coming out of the pits. Galvin has taken his last pit stop. He's come right out behind Jake Wright now.
Galvin, good to go. That's down in 20th. He is a lap down now. We look back there. Galvin is racing with I said he was in there with Wright. Yeah, but Wright, this is interesting. He's a lap down. All these guys are on the lead lap. Galvin, probably good news for him right now. He's close enough. He can pick up a little bit of time. Oh. Look at that is Wright. Talk about right behind Mikas. Taking a whiff of the Von Hansen's meat machine. Want to make sure that the meat is fresh, and it always is at a Von Hansen's meat market. But
can you smell what Bobby Mikas is cooking up? Look at this, three wide.
And there it is. I talked about. Look at this. Remember, he's a lap down. That's the Galvin hustling around.
Ryan Otis making a call to come in. Several cars. Kinsella coming in, bringing Stouffer with him.
Yeah, that's Kinsella in the aqua-colored car, Stouffer back in the red machine. Those guys were running third and fourth.
Comes Dandy Dan Guerin, Ron Hacker. Okay.
Stouffer and Goodman continue to dance. Oh, they're going to lose one, though. They didn't coordinate, because here comes Stouffer. This is going to leave Goodman out to race all by himself.
And Dan Guerin just peeled off by himself. Galvin.
What I'd like to watch with Stouffer coming in by himself, I'd like to see how he fares with Kinsella. Kinsella is just getting up to speed now on the backstretch. In fact, you can see there goes Galvin by Kinsella. There goes Micah's. There comes these guys. He's going to cycle out Red Dagla in that mix as well. Now the question is, the leader of this group is Galvin. Is he going to get out before Stouffer gets out? Stouffer rolling right now. Stouffer was racing in second. Remember, he left Goodman behind. So Stouffer is out on track.
Oh, Galvin catching up to Dan Guerin. Dan Guerin coming out right now. Guerin, is he going to pick up enough speed here? I think they're going to get him. They've got the momentum going into 3.
Now our leader is in. Goodman has come in. Stouffer was not ran down by those guys. Goodman is rolling. Now where is Stouffer? Goodman just gets it out onto the corner number 1. Stouffer in a pretty good run. He just gets around the lap car of Peter Edwards. That's Goodman trying to get it up to speed. Here comes Stouffer. He's going to get him. Now can he lose him is the question.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't think so.
Goodman just had a head of steam there. Just was getting up to full speed. He was able to stay with him, Joe. This is going to be a fight to the end.
Just over a second ahead now of the guys who are chasing. And right behind him, you can see that's not Guerin. Well, I guess it is Guerin and Galvin are the guys who are running them down. We still have some cars who have yet to come in. I apologize. Micah's is yet to pit.
Goodman passing Stouffer for that position now.
Yeah, this is really, as we looked at, it says, now there's Wright in second and Micah's in first, but these guys have got to come in. Now here they come. Now, Stouffer goes around Goodman again. The gap, 1.1 seconds back to Guerin. I'm calling Guerin our third place driver. It's Guerin and Galvin doing a dance as they try to run down Goodman and Stouffer.
And Bob Micus and Jake Wright making their pit stops, Soup.
This is everybody.
Dave Barber also coming on the radio saying he's pitting. Soup, more updates. A statement from the number 62, Brian Greenlee, the Oculus Rift car, was trying to work with Brandon Lemkeman to get back up and was low on fuel. Car got too low. He came up and caught the wall. Disappointed to say the least. There for Brian Greenlee. Tough break.
I think the second half of the season is going to turn around for Greenlee. My goodness, as the dance for the lead is now, they're doing it 2 or 3 times a lap as Stouffer and Goodman are doing their very best to try to stay out in front of Guerin and Galvin and Kinsella. It's usually the 20-mile mark where Sean gets to give his famous line. We're almost there. Goodman working under Stouffer.
Oh, Soup, we're there, buddy. It's time to boogie.
Is it time to boogie?
It's time to boogie indeed. Let's get this party going.
All right. 11 laps to go as they are working lap number 90. We expected that this would be a green flag run, and we were correct. Stouffer and Goodman dancing, swapping positions 2 or 3 times a lap.
Hey,
underneath is Galvin now. Go ahead, Sean.
Galvin and Guerin are working together, okay, to try and make this happen. They're playing a little game of leapfrog right now. They are trying desperately to get up here to get up here to Goodman and Stouffer, and I think they can pull this off. I think they've got time.
The interval is 9/10 of a second. Well, I think they're just out of the toe. They need to get a little bit closer. Now here comes another move again. Everybody knows what's going on as Goodman gets under Stouffer. Now the fans are wondering, where can you make that last pass? I think it happened in ease. In fact, you watch right there. Look at Stouffer gets underneath. Was he credited with leading that lap? He was not. So if you do it out of 4, you might be in trouble. You might not be able to get there. The interval, under a second now. From Goodman, back to Guerin. Pass for the lead as the leapfrog continues. Do-si-do, swing your partner. Michael Goodman back out in front. Stouffer behind as they make the pass in 4. Now coming out of 4 through the D-shaped part of the straightaway there. Stouffer makes the move back into 1.
You see, they're doing the same thing that Dan Guerin and Jason Galvin are doing, and unfortunately, that's not helping Dan and Jason's effort. Kinsella's in that mix too, but he's not close enough to work with him here. Boy, it's going to be really, really hard to catch them, but they've got it to just right at about a second right now.
Kinsella back there in 5th position, kind of like the guy on the rowing boat that has a name. He's back there yelling, "Stroke! Stroke! Stroke!"
Yeah, he's the coxswain for
he's
sure.
The coxswain, yeah, trying to get Galvin and Guerin to get the boat up closer to the guys out in front. The interval now under 9/10 of a second. They've knocked off a little bit with 7 laps to go. They're getting close. They might just be starting to get a whiff of the toe going underneath now. Here comes Stouffer as he's going to stay on the high side, and Goodman gets the pass. Goodman out in front. Goodman in the blue-colored car. Stouffer behind him, mostly the white car. Stouffer ducks to underneath now again, doing the same thing as Galvin and Guerin.
Man, they just can't seem to reel him in, Sue.
You can see the yellow number that sits between them. They try so hard. Not on your screen right now. It is back to 9 seconds again as the dance continues. They just are out of the toe just a little bit. Goodman makes the pass for the lead. Stouffer drops back to 2nd. There's no problem. It's all planned out. Of course, everything's going to change on the last lap. They pass going into 4. They pass coming out of 4, going into 1. Stouffer takes the lead again. 5 to go. We are now at the point of no return where a yellow flag comes out. You can almost not afford to be in the lead right now. This is interesting. Goodman wants to continue to dance, but it's really Russian roulette right now, because if the yellow flag were to come out when you were doing your dance and you're not in the lead, you're going to lose the race. Stouffer lets Goodman by. Stouffer now looking to do it, and sure enough, he gets it done, coming out of 4 to the start-finish line, and he's going to be first to the start-finish line. Keep that in mind. There's enough time to do the dive out of 4 to get the win. Stouffer now out in front. The interval still 9/10 of a second. Back to Galvin in 3rd. No, correct myself. Guerin in 3rd. Galvin back and forth right now. Kinsella, try as he might, can get nothing done in 5th. Here comes Galvin with a great run. He tries to get the best run he can possibly get on Guerin. It looks so good. The only problem is Goodman gets the same type of run up in front. They come across now, dive into the inside one more time, and this time it's Stouffer in the lead again.
Sue, I think we're about to end our streak of 3 races with winners beginning with the name J, with the letter J. I think that could fall.
Chris, Michael, Dan. Well, there's Jason Galvin still in the mix. Oh, a car in the wall.
Paulson
But he keeps it going. He keeps it going straight. I think we're going to be okay. No yellow yet. As long as he can keep that car. Look at the car. Galvin really high up in the wall. Almost puts it in there. That's going to make room for Kinsella to maybe move up into 4th. Meanwhile, up in front, we stay under green. It is Stouffer. The yellow is out. I have no idea who is in front. I saw Stouffer make the move on Goodman. Who is iRacing going to give it to? I think he's going to give it to Chris Stouffer.
I think so. Yep. That's who I had on my timing and scoring. Wow.
We're going to look at Paulson.
Just not sure what happened there, Sue.
Are we sure that Paulson was the car? That it looked like he had it up there, but I guess...
Yeah, it stopped. The momentum of the car stopped up against the wall.
He did all he could do.
And he just wraps it coming out of the turn, and he stays stuck up there, and everybody's able to get by. But I guess he just didn't have an opening to get that car down off the wall and down to the inside. Yeah, he might have been stuck in the wall.
He's stuck. Oh, what a tough break. He did everything he could to get the race to finish under green, but iRacing wouldn't let him off of there. Meanwhile, our leader is now running in second, but the car he's behind is the pace car. It is Chris Stouffer, and I think as he's working around, he's got lap 3 and 4 to go. Those are the corners. I think Stouffer is going to pick up the win. Michael Goodman, Sean, we've been waiting for him to get a win all this season. He had a shot at it. Not going to get it tonight.
Wow, what a race. And that game you kept talking about, that game of shells there that we were playing, works out for Dan Guerin in the end.
As he looks to pick up his first win of the season, let me apologize. He was also, my goodness, he loves the ovals. He was our winner at Pocono, picks up his second win of the season. Round number 13 goes to Michael Goodman, second position. Chris Stouffer goes to Michael Goodman. Dan Guerin gets third.
Yeah, great race for Goodman. Tough break. Galvin's going to wind up with fourth. Andrew Kinsella will get fifth. Pierre Degla with a strong top 10 run in sixth there, Soup.
Yeah, we got to that point, and it was just a roll of the dice whether you were going to be out in front when that yellow hit, and it just happened to fall Stouffer's way. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but we are not done because we're going to go back quickly and we're going to launch into our Lock Precision Post Race show where we'll run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, give you the answer to the trivia question, and close up shop. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway as we launch into the Lock Precision Rocketry post-race show. Soup and Crackers here to review the HPP Simulation 200 that you just saw here on the Global Sim Racing Show. And you know, the Lionheart series is celebrating its 3rd anniversary, but for over 30 years, the name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid to high-powered rocketry. Lock Precision manufactures a full line of high-quality, precision-fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing need. For more information, please visit lockprecision.com. Okay, let's go through the finishing order. Well, it was Stouffer and Goodman, Goodman and Stouffer, Stouffer and Goodman, and when the yellow flag came out, the dice were rolled, and Chris Stouffer picks up the win. Michael Goodman has to settle for second. Dan Guerin, Jason Galvin, they were dancing as well. They get 3rd and 4th. Andrew Kinsella watching the whole thing in 5th position. Pierre Nightingale, Tony Schowen, Bob Mikas in 7th, 8th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th. 9th position, your points leader, Jake Wright. And rounding out your top 10, Ron Hacker. Crackers?
Soup in 11th this evening, Joe Branch. Chris Lanini got to come home 12th. Brandon Limkeman 13th. Jason Robarge 14th. Ryan Otis 15th this evening. George Adams 16th. Vincent Bluthenthal will finish 17th tonight. Now, our big mover of the race was Mr. Big Joe Hassert, the Big Joe Show, up 14 spots to finish 18th. Dave Barber, the Lock Precision DW12, finishes 19th. Robert Bluen, 20th.
Do my last Eric Burden imitation of the night as Patrick, my mother was a tailor, hits the 21st position. Matthew Mercer in the double duck spot. James Paulson and Peter Edwins, George Anzaldo go 23rd through 25th. It's not easy being Greenlee as Brian comes home in 26th position tonight. The Racing Kangaroo, Michael Gray in 27th. James Grahula had internet connections problems. And Ed Tutwiler go 28th and 29th and 30th. It is Woodrow Mahan, Dustin Wardlow, Jack Bogan, Frank Beezer, Mark Omrick, and that'll wrap up your 34 drivers that took the grid. Sean, I'm going to let you do the first interview. Do we have the winner that you can talk to?
We do. Chris Stouffer, the big winner tonight here at Michigan International Speedway. Chris, how does it feel to pick up win number 2?
It feels good to pick up the second win of the season, especially in this fashion. I know last time it was a little, questionable with the netcode issue there, but and then this time, we had a caution come out, so I didn't even get to race it out with Mike. So I feel bad for him because me and him swap drafted that whole race pretty much, at least the first stint and that second stint, and so yeah, I felt bad that we didn't get to race it out, but I'll take the win.
Well, that little game of leapfrog you boys are playing there at the end kept Dan Guerin and Jason Galvin away from you, and it left it to you two. Certainly a shame to see that caution flag come out, but hey, congratulations, buddy. You got to be happy with the points and what that means for the team.
Yeah, definitely. The whole team tonight, I want to give a shout out to my teammates. We worked together really well. We were all swap drafting right there together for most of the race. And I know we probably got a pretty big boost in the team points too, and we needed that.
Chris, are you excited to get this second half of the season underway? Do you see more wins in your future? And if so, what do you think the tracks coming up? Which ones of those do you think are your best ones?
Well, I couldn't tell you the tracks that we have coming up right off the top of my head, but I am excited to get the second half of the season going here. The first half, I didn't really have much to write home about. I got one win in there, and I think only one top 10. I had a few DNFs too, so I want to put that first half kind of behind me, and just focus on the second half and see how much ground I can make up in these standings.
Well, and you also broke the streak. The last 3 races here at Michigan, the winners, the name of the winners began with the letter J. So we have killed that streak, and maybe we've got another one going here. Great momentum here out of this race and after the break. And again, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, Soup, that was our winner here today at Michigan, and I think you've caught up with a man who's probably okay with second place, but would have liked to have had that win, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know how okay he is. You know, he had a second, and of course we're talking about our second place finisher here today, as we're going to go ahead and talk to Michael Goodman right now. He had a second at Watkins Glen on a road course. He had a third at Moseport on a road course. He had a third at Sonoma on a road course. I thought he had the chance for the win today at Michigan, but he had to settle for second. So close. Michael, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Feels good, regardless. I'm very, very happy.
Let's go ahead. There's a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, before we talk about what would have happened, let's talk about what was happening. Did you know that Darren and Galvin were back there kind of just shadowing, mirroring every move that you guys made, trying to run you two down?
Believe it or not, I was really just concentrating on going back and forth with whoever I was racing with. So at this particular time, it was Chris. I think before that, it was Tony Showen, stuff like that. So I was really just concentrating on making sure that I hit my marks.
Okay, now let's go. Let's go to your put you inside your helmet there before the yellow flag. The pass could be made coming out of 4, and it looked like you could beat the guy down to the lane to get the across the finish line first. Were you given any thought to where you wanted to be on the last lap?
To be honest with you, I know this is going to sound corny, but I didn't even care. I just wanted to finish the race. Yeah.
Well, it was very impressive, the dancing that was going on. Any close calls for you tonight? I thought it was pretty clean. You were out in front for most of the way.
No, I mean, again, I just want to actually, what I wanted to do, if it's all right with you, I wanted to thank Jawandi from High Liveries for painting my EcoBoost ride. I never got to thank him. Did it from the beginning of the year, but I want to thank my teammates. I didn't even know that my teammate Jason Galvin, he finished 4th, so that just proved that I didn't even care who was behind me. I was concentrating on who was in front of me. And, I want to thank Chris and everyone who I was racing with the entire night. It was very smart, clean, and whatnot.
Yeah, no, you were racing Chris, and then you were in there with Tony Showen as well. You guys did a nice job. And a good night, good points day for AGR. So congratulations on the second place. Let's see if we can get a win before the season's done.
Yeah, we'll see. Always try, and every week is a new week. Thank you.
All right, Michael Goodman, your second place finisher today as we say goodbye to the New York driver. You got Dandy Dan Guerin there, Sean. Is that where we're going next?
I do. And Dan, I know you had fun out there. I've seen you talking about it in the chat. Wow, what a race, really, huh?
That I had a lot higher hopes for that. I just missed the pole. I just nicked the apron, but from what happened with me and Galvin very early in the race to him and I working together at the very end of the race to get 3rd and 4th, that was a fun race. We dropped way back too, so that was real fun.
Dan, the secret to winning these championships is consistency and picking up a few wins here and there. You've been able to do both. This is a big shot in the arm here coming out of the break, isn't it?
It's definitely a momentum boost. I had a few issues early in the season. They were my fault. I don't know what happened to me at the beginning of the season, but I'll qualify good, then something risk will happen and just screw me all up. But Dave Cordy, my spotter, he is keeping me more focused on the big picture each race instead of the overall picture at the moment. So just race by race until we can hopefully get that championship this year.
And that's the goal, the championship. How close does it feel, Dan? Can you get there this year?
It's going to be tough, but we got a few races coming up here, like next week, Dover. That track was crazy last year. It's already proven to be crazy this year, just a couple practice sessions we've had. But big picture, we've got some tracks coming up, though, I know I can excel at, and hopefully I can just finish ahead of Andrew and Jake both and go from there.
All right, Dan. Congratulations, my friend. We will see you next week. And anybody want to thank real quick?
Of course, Dave Barber Financial, Flock Precision, both those guys, my teammates are always behind me. Of course, Dave Cordy, who helps me out every week, and gotta say hi to my mom and stepdad out there. Hi, guys.
All right, Dan. Well, hey, thanks again, buddy. We will see you next week, and maybe top of the podium is where you'll wind up. And that's Dan, Garen, and Soup. We're going to talk to one more driver here. We're certainly in the mix to the end. You've got Jason Galvin.
I do, Jason. The racing gods are ironic. That you get into it with Garen, they knock you both down there, and they say, "Okay, you boys work together and get it figured out." Boy, you had an exciting race.
Yeah, it's funny how that works out, Soup. I told Dan after the race I was trying to do the Galvin and Dan spin and win times too, because at Texas early this year, the roles were flipped. I pushed up into Dan and I spun. And then I came back through the field and found a way to win the race. So I thought for a while there that we had a chance at it. I nailed my pit stops tonight, and hats off to Dan for coming back and running clean with me there. Dan's one of the cleanest guys and nicest guys in this league. So I know that was an honest mistake on his part. And you know what? That happens sometimes in this type of racing. You know, when you're barely lifting going around this track and every inch counts. It's understandable how that stuff happens. But that was a fun race. I'm sure that was a blast to watch. I can't wait to go back and watch through. For a race that only had one yellow until the end there. It never looked like there was a dull moment. And hats off to Chris and Michael. They were the class of the field once they got out there. Michael's been a great teammate. Having him on AGR this year has been fantastic. And I'm thrilled, honestly. I'm really happy with fourth. I told my wife I thought that was the best race I'd ever driven. So for me to drive a race like that felt good.
Well, we'll get you out of here on that answer. Good job, and a good day for AGR Racing as they come home second and fourth. Good job.
Thanks, Soup. I appreciate it. Hey, real quick, thanks to First Medical Equipment and HPP Simulations and all they do, and to KGT and Thumbs Up Cancer Down. Go check them out, thumbsupcancerdown.com. See you guys next week.
There you go. Nice going. And Sean, there you have it. A true racing driver plugs the sponsors before he gives the microphone back to the commentator. Okay.
You don't even have to ask. That's right.
That's how it's done. Another way that iRacing simulates real-world racing. Let's go ahead and do our sponsor plugs right now. Now, pay attention, because we're not done yet. We have the answer to the trivia question at the very bottom. I haven't heard from Sean if anybody got that one yet.
Oh, we got a winner.
First of all,
got a winner.
We'd like to thank First Medical Equipment. They've been the source of medical supplies and equipment in the Burlington, Iowa area for years because of their superior commitment to provide the absolute best in product quality and customer service. For more information, please visit firstmedequipment.com. Hey, also, nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system in the world of sim racing, designed and manufactured in the USA on state-of-the-art CNC equipment. HPP's hydraulic pedals and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulations.com. Crackers? Yes, I like meat. I'm going to answer it in before you ask.
Do you love meat? Yes. Okay. Well, Von Hansen's Meats, we got to thank them for sponsoring the Countdown to Green. They are the new old-fashioned meat market and butcher shop. We also want to thank Lock Precision Rocketry for sponsoring the post-race shows Fly Hard, Fly Safe, Fly Lock. Thanks to everyone at the Lionheart IndyCar Series for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. And our race sponsor this evening, Patrick Taylor, thank you, sir. We appreciate your sponsorship and hope you have a better race next week, Sue.
On the screen now, you see all the companies, equipment, and software that we use on the broadcast. I don't know what any of it does, but Amjad knows how to use it. And man, he does a good job of it. We thank them for all of their stuff that they give us. The original music that you heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Eckham and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
Yes, sir, and the Lionheart IndyCar Series will return in 1 week. July 26th for the American Cancer Society Race for the Cure 150 from Dover, the Monster Mile. GSRC will be there, and we hope you join us. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. Yes, globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media. Find us on Twitter at GSR Channel, and on Facebook, just type in Global Sim Racing Channel, and you'll find us.
Sean, I'm supposed to just read what's down there, but to be honest with you, I spend a lot of time on the Global Sim Racing Channel, the YouTube channel as well. I don't know about you, but I'm always over there, so I don't know. Let's get to our trivia question right now and our answer. Now, here was our trivia question that we gave you during a green flag run because we were so few yellows tonight. Before Toyota earned their first NASCAR win in 2008, what was the last non-Big Three car company, that's either GM, Ford, or Chrysler, to win a NASCAR race, and who drove the car? Sean, you say we got a winner?
Yes, Soup, we do. Pedro Aravalo was all over it. That was AMC, the American Motor Company, and it was Bobby Allison in a 1975 AMC Matador. Folks, all I can tell you is just Google that, okay? You're in for a real treat. That was one fine specimen of an automobile.
I know that it used to be red, white, and blue for a while. I'm not sure if that's the car that actually won in 75, but yes, sirree. At least it wasn't a Gremlin or a Pacer. Finally, on behalf of the man who you just heard, Sean Crackers Ambrose, our director, Amjad Yaman, and the camera artist, Dougie Beard, we'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.